Okay, be back live here. I've been debugging driving sim stuff for the past several hours, so that's where I've been. We're gonna try to do a little bit of drone work now. This is where we left off. We've had lots of different types of models. It's kind of interesting that these ones behave like this. You know what it is? A couple of them do get out, don't they? It's probably that these tasks are like semi-conflicting. I don't think the drone racing task works amazingly on its own either. I have here. Do. We're gonna do task race. So we're gonna do it unrandomized. This will give us our benchmark, and we're just gonna assume that our metrics are messed up. We're gonna have to visually look at it. Admittedly is not great, but this is what we'll do. Actually, well, let's just do it this way. I forgot I can use Neptune to pull models. Too much easier. Copy stuff around. The main article. The article that I published today is kind of good. Because I've been doing kind of well. Over 150k views. This is crazy. Pretty interesting. I guess I should just write more. Yeah, this rings pass metric doesn't look good, right? This has been uninformative before. OOB is good. Hey, what are you doing today? I'm doing drone racing debugging. Trying to figure out why this sim that I have like a good swarming sim and a good racing sim, but they are not working well now that I've put them together. Trying to figure out what's going on with that. Like the drone swarm sim was pretty much perfect. And the racing sim was pretty much perfect. Now it's kind of janky now that they're both together. I guess it's arguable maybe I shouldn't have tried to even put them together. I don't know. We're not going to do this indefinitely if it seems like the tasks are just incompatible, but I think that they should work. I need my Neptune credentials. Heck. Why does this not work? Yeah, it's bizarro. I guess we'll just have to copy stuff manually. Okay, so this is actually a problem. Look at this. See all these drones, they're like flying around and they can't quite figure out how to get through the target. Like almost looks to me like it's not getting updated, right? That doesn't make much sense. Oh, hang on. Is this? Might not be the same thing. Might not be the same thing. Yeah, let's make sure that we're actually running the same version. definitely more agile, but they're still just stuck on this one ring, yeah? Which really doesn't make any sense to me at all. Is it always the same? Ring in the corner with one nearby. It is always the same. How's that possible? Oh, it gets past a fixed seat, right? Yeah, it does. This should eventually reset to a different course, though, shouldn't it? I just watched this for a little bit. Yeah, so it does reset. Here it's like they're actually kind of doing the course a little bit more, right? This is nowhere near... They still get stuck on this ring now, right? Very weird, because at least some of them are going through it, it looks to me. Now they're just, like, confused. Like, hey, what do we do? Okay. Pretty weird. Why would it just get stuck on a particular ring? Particularly with these training settings. I understand if when you're training on a bunch of tasks, it should have no problem here, though. Does it not know the ring? Ring normal. Can it not see the normal? Oh, it has ring norm, right? Q verse. Q inverse is drone claw. Okay, no, this is correct. No, the observations are the same. This should be totally fine, right? Set target. X. When it resets, set the target for everything, right? This also sets the target for reward for passing the rings. Turning a float correctly. Maybe casting it. That's bizarre though. Set target. This sets the target position. There's nothing that would, like, in the observations, would tell it to not go there. Yeah. Unless it's that it just can't see closely enough, right? I guess. worth running, maybe. At least while I'm thinking about other stuff. Be very surprised if this is the problem. Possible. Data norms are a killer. Get 100k per amp model on this as well. What's up? How's it going? How is it that it figures out how to get to these rings so quickly? Doesn't get the next one. Like only ever getting a ring some of the time. Doing like some weird reset thing, are we? Task race. Yep. For drone, how confident about domain randomization? I think if we get it working very cleanly in the sim with heavy domain randomization, then it should work IRL. That means for that to happen, we have to have the physics at least directionally correct, which should be. Might be a couple other small things to model, but it should actually work. In conditions. Yeah, we might have to just add random forces during training sometimes. The thing is that like you're not just guessing a sequence of instructions, right? And saying execute this entire sequence of instructions. It's like it's adjusting dynamically every step, right? Always setting the ring index to 0. A lot of like correlated data. This helps. I want to check config real quick. Article is done like very surprisingly well. I thought it would get a couple hundred at most. Okay, so randomizing the starting position doesn't seem to help. Kind of expected it might a little bit, but I suppose the problem's a bit deep. This compute reward doesn't really matter in the current form. I'm testing pre-training, what? Good stuff, thank you. It will be good stuff when I figure out what the heck is wrong with this training. I had this working quite well before. Let's go back to doing this. See if this makes a difference. Seem to. Not a multi-drone thing, it's not a curriculum thing. It is probably worth actually looking at the policy to see what it does. repair it. In fact, it gets up to like one ring all perfectly. How the heck does it go through one ring and just not know how to do anything else? It really feels like it's exploiting something, right? Going through the same ring over and over. It is kind of, yeah, it's trying to go through the same ring a bunch of times. Should not be getting rewarded for this. The logs seem to indicate it's not getting rewarded for this. Sometimes it's doing multiple, and then it gets stuck. It's very weird. We have GPUs that run 1,000x faster, current GPU training speed. But you don't like my, like 3 million step per second training? Pathetic robotic stuff. You gotta rewrite your sims. I don't think your sims are anywhere near as fast as they could be. See, the problem with robotics, right, is all you guys, you went, okay, we gotta make a really accurate sim and then it'll work in the real world. No, that's not what you do, okay? Make a very tunable sim that can be domain randomized to hell, train on a ton of different permutations so that the robot can basically work in any sort of chaotic setting. Then you throw it in the real world. Yeah, that works. How's this thing going through it so many times? Is it somehow still not getting like updated or whatever? See. Having vision part, yep. Why are you doing that? To be fair, you can get your vision way faster as well. Not puffer speed, but you can at least get it 10x faster than it is now. Gotta try. Problem is nobody wants to do all the hard engineering. I bet. Pay you to make the pipeline. Uh, I know. I know a guy who's quite good on the vision side who, like for batch rendering stuff, done work there. I could probably go get him if you had a big application for it. In the meantime, I'm working on building out all our other tech for general purpose RL. We'll have to do a vision like eventually, but we can solve so much cool stuff before we do that, you know? So much cool stuff we can solve. I can't figure out how to go through a ring. It knows how to get to the ring, and then it's like, is it not triggering? Oh no, it does know how to go through the ring. It's just not triggering. That's what's happening. It's just not triggering. Fun. Should turn color, I agree. It's a little tricky because we have the multi-agent flying one though, bet. Yeah, this does. For my self-play question. Oh geez, your self-play question I believe is a rabbit hole. On. I don't, it's not, you're missing context, I'm pretty sure. Wait, you can't link me Discord like that. Where is it? You pasted or something? Moves too fast. Yeah, so the thing that's a little annoying, Bet, is like we don't have masking in 3.0. I didn't add it because it wasn't being used for anything, and you kind of need it for self-play. The best way I could figure out how to do it. Oh, okay, you added it. I don't know if you added it correctly. But like the best way to do it, right? And this is annoying because it's inefficient. Um, is that like you generate the half the agents run one step, half the agents run the next step, but they can't go into the same episodes, right? One episode is for one agent, not one game. So that's the tricky part. Like an episode has to be all of one agent's moves. You can't just have like data from both agents in one episode. Right? That's the tricky bit to it. I'm trying to think what the best way to hack it would be. You know what I would probably do, Bet? Fuck, I have no idea how to do this based on the current infrastructure, actually. Can't just alternate and board flip, though, if, like, can't put all the data from one agent into one episode. I mean, we're all for one game into one episode. You can't have the rollout for the LSTM be Agent 1, Agent 2, Agent 1, Agent 2. That's not going to work. What you'd want to do is you'd want to hack they get their own obs. It doesn't matter though because the reward function is bootstrapped over the trajectory, right? So it's like it's taking into account both agents' actions. It's gonna mess stuff up. At least I think it'll mess stuff up a bunch. Yeah, well, because you'll be bootstrapping over the other agents' rewards. It'll totally mess up the reward signal. No, it doesn't need to see this position as bad or this. The actual fix for this bet for the episode data, each episode to contain one player's data, not a full game's data. It's really easy if you have like a scripted opponent because you just play your one side. You'd have to basically hack the double buffered vectorization that we have, such that on one call to step, right, you get one set of players' data, and on the next call, you get the next set of players' data. You'd basically have to trick it into thinking it has twice the number of ends that it does. I am going to have to help you figure this out, actually, because I have people who want self-play in the environment, for sure. It is actually kind of tricky. Very easy to mess up as well. Oh, huh. Rings past 33. Okay, so this was totally the problem. Cool. Oh, does this not update prevpos? I think it doesn't. So it was a bug in the merge. Difficult time finding actual because it's not an algorithm bet. Like, okay, ignore chess for a second because it's chess being turn-based and chess being self-play are two different things. Okay? Every single environment that has multiple agents in it in some sort of cooperative or competitive setting is self-play. There is not an algorithm for it. It's just a setting. You can see what I mean? So the turn-based thing is not an algorithmic difference. It's a purely an infrastructure difference. Except it's trickier than just double buffering the vec because then you have two separate environments. I'm probably going to have to help you with. Do you have any idea why chess is slow? Like, in my mind, chess should be very fast. Like, literally, even if you just got a basic chess agent that runs fast and can play against any sort of, like, one look ahead scripted bot or, like, some dumb scripted bot, like, that's already good. Yeah, here we go. We fixed it. I fixed the bug. There's no way, bet, just the fact that I know the chess engines run so fast means that it has to be possible. I'm pretty sure like Stockfish looks at millions or like tens of millions of states per second. I will look at this with you, man. I gotta finish drones and I gotta finish some stuff, but the self play is on the to do list for sure. Have you not like looked around on like chess is one of the most widely implemented things ever? Have you like looked around online and seen if there's anything that's fast? Like this is actually a place where you can probably get references. Like 'What do you mean ready to train? Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's going to be different, but it shouldn't be slower. Like the fact that you have to make it trainable is not going to make it substantially slower. I don't know what the hell it's doing because this like thinking logic doesn't make any bloody sense. PhD level intelligence, my ass. 350 moves per game. It says, did it write a Python sim or did it pretend to write a Python sim? No way it actually wrote a sim. What? See, there's such a huge disconnect with me when it's like, oh yeah, we solve IMO gold, and like, even if it's like, well, yeah, this isn't the model that solves IMO gold. Okay, but yeah, all the models, like, they're a few points, right? Okay, it should be IMO bronze or whatever. That's still very smart. And then anytime you actually interact with an LLM, it's completely stupid. This is like more reasonable, right? So this would be hundreds of thousands. Yeah, I think that they mean they didn't integrate it with a proof engine, right? But they absolutely were using it as a benchmark internally. Usually how that goes. Oh, I'll go check the grok output because it'll be funny. Let me pull this. It would be actually pretty funny if it like wrote a valid chess sim. But there's no way it did. Oh, it says the chess library. It doesn't actually show you the logic. Which is bullshit, so it probably didn't even do it. Billion nodes per second. $5.7 million. Yeah. We should definitely be able to do this, man. I think it's... I didn't write any code, it says. Do we think this actually runs? We'll try it for fun. Ten to 50 games per second. It might have actually run it on like a slower CPU, because it's not off by a huge amount. 130 games per second, 46k moves. If your C is slower than Python, if the test is right, that's also true. Did we read the code? No, we didn't. I mean, this is an actual library. It's like, maybe. Games. That looks reasonable at a glance. Random choice of legal moves. Yeah, because it gets legal moves from the engine, right? Well, not board.is game over, right? It looks like it just comes from the chess library. Crazy how well this random article did. We're at almost 14.9. Very well could get 15k off of that. That's crazy. Release time is big. This is true. Oh, yeah, this is... Yeah, this is godly AI. Oh, no, wait, is it still stuck? It looked really good at the start. There. Alright, Dr. Phil. This definitely works. There's like some screw up. Oh, I know what it was. I'm just dumb. No worries. How did this just break my terminal? Race condition test? What race condition test? Oh, yeah, okay. What do we think, guys? Do we think that this works? Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's see if we go blame Sam and Finn, or we blame my tired ass for doing stupid stuff. See who gets blamed for this. Well, I don't see they delete. I didn't see them deleting it anywhere. Well, I must have just been a versioning issue. Yeah, must just be a versioning issue. They didn't screw it up. My bad, I guess. I must have just done a weird merge. Oh, you know what it probably was? Yeah, it was probably that I never put that version into the other file. How do you pass the N from C to Gymnasium? So we don't actually use Gymnasium for our native N's. We only really use their Spaces API, not anything else. But we have this binding file, sort of covered in the docs and stuff a little bit. So this is just Python API stuff. It's kind of obnoxious. But what this does is it instantiates a bunch of your environments and it handles passing variables for you. You're free to read it. The Python API is kind of gross. But the point of this is that it lets you just bind stuff like this. This is all you have to write. Whoops. Yeah, this is literally all you have to write. You just basically tell it what parameters you want to pass in and what log variables you want to get out. So, it makes it pretty easy. Yeah. I don't love the code that I have for the C binding file. Like, you're never gonna have to read it as a normal user. I don't love how the code is though for our env binding file, but it's the first iteration of this. 3.0 is the first version where we've had this, and I hadn't worked with the Python C API before. It's kind of gross. It's very error prone, so it is what it is for now. It will be improved over time. Kind of focused on building out more applications at the moment, though. Really showing what Puffer can do more broadly. Build other M's in C? Yes, of course. What else would you build them in? I don't know what you mean by a neural data. Well, not everything, Bet. Like, there are things that you would not do in C, you would do in CUDA, which is just C that runs on GPU. Which is basically the same thing. The cool thing about this, though, is like, if you know C, it's not hard at all to write some basic CUDA. Like, compilation stuff is a bit of a pain there, but the code's kind of the same. Like, CUDA's just straight up C that runs on your GPU. you just specify the axis of parallelism, right? So like you write the function that runs it for one drone, for instance. Then if you have a whole big block that has all the drones in it, then it runs on each drone in the block or whatever. That's pretty much it. Never done RL, just cranking out CUDA kernels. Honestly, if anybody here knows, like, is good with CUDA dev, there are some things that could be done in Puffer that would be very, very, very helpful. I do a little bit of stuff, but it could be way better. Why are Puffer users so cracked? I mean, that's kind of the goal. There are really not that many people anymore who actually give a fuck about, like, learning low-level systems and really understanding how to build things correctly. Working on creating images based on, I assume that's thoughts. Some signals are known, some are not. I want to make the brain signals as environment for different signals to find things we. Well, I don't know if it's going to be C or CUDA, right? But it sure ain't going to be Python. See what I mean? It's definitely not the case that as you build more complex ends, you stop caring about performance. It's the opposite. If anything, the more complex the end does, the more hardcore you have to be on the performance engineering. Most of what we do performance side is actually considered very, very basic low-level system stuff. Very, very basic. Yeah, the thing is, I'm new to RL and want to do best practices. Specifically, there would be a lot of perform. Yes, of course. So there are no best practices in RL. In fact, all the best practices you will find in RL are in fact worst practices. The field is a mess. Um, what we have is pretty much just how to keep stuff simple and fast and minimally error prone. So you can see how we do stuff in Puffer. Um, yeah, we don't do best practices stuff. It's like that's kind of dogma for the sake of dogma. We walk you through how we tend to build stuff. Like best practices in isolation doesn't do much. It's way better to see like how we build stuff in context and why we recommend building stuff the way we do. Play Neural MMO3 as an article. I could very well so. I think we're gonna do Neural MMO3 as an article bet when we have like a massive breakthrough on training. It'll take a year to develop, but can I do it somehow so you add it to Puffer? Of course. I'll be surprised if anything takes a year in PufferLib, by the way. Like, things move very, very quickly. I built Neural MMO3 in a few months and with way, way worse tools than what we have now. Like, I could probably do Neural MMO3 now in like a month or less. Yeah, good and useful ends get added pretty much. And we love applications as well. If you have like cool real world applications or like actual science uses for RL, we're all over that. It's actually the thing that we're most interested in at the moment is like, where can we use this to improve other areas of science and do other, to do interesting things? Frankly, in my mind, like major contributions to science are just as, if not more valuable than like business side development, right? So that is my ultimate goal with all of this. You think I'd be doing all this the way I were doing it if the sole goal were the business side? No, man. I want to improve science. Love working open source. FinTech, yeah. FinTech is rough. Yeah, okay, this looks like it's working. Money during Corona. That's no fun at all. Yeah, rough. FinTech is like especially rough. Can be. We've actually found a pretty good way to do like some finance adjacent stuff with Puffer in a way that makes sense. They'll release a bunch of stuff, but yeah. Any C tutorials you recommend? Articles, I don't know. Read. If you've never done any C, you're probably gonna have to at least do some amount of a formal course. Hey, Yaxine, how's it going? Oh, hey, Yaxine, I guess you're here from the you're probably here from the post, to be honest. But here, we'll show you it's real. Take a look. Pretty zippy, right? Java, Python, MATLAB, and Never C. The course I took was Stanford's 107. It's not a great course. It's really boring. There are probably better ones. You really only need the most basic fundamentals. Plot the motors like their thrusts. I'm trying to think how I would do that quickly. We have RPMs actually now. We modified the physics. There was a physics update. It's hacking. I have the code. What do you mean it's hacking? Like it's able to just like spin way too fast? It's totally possible that it's like, it's assuming it has super powerful motors or there's not enough motor lag or something. Jittering thrust up and down. What does that accomplish? Oh, reward hacking? Yeah, so I don't know when you pulled this. Um for the racing task specifically, I just fixed a bug. Well, in the swarm version, I just fixed a bug where it wasn't properly checking when it was going through the rings. But actually it wasn't hacking the reward. It was just trying to get to the target and the target wasn't registering. It actually wasn't a reward hacking thing. It was just like the environment dynamics being wrong. Can be on stream. Yeah, if you want to chat, I'm happy to do that. I'm gonna run for dinner in a little bit here, but I wanted to do a couple other things. I don't know if this is gonna work, but let's see if we can actually get it to jointly learn all the tasks. This would be pretty crazy. You know, instead of just training on racing task, what if we train on all the tasks, right? We just do this. It wasn't working before, but I mean our rewards were wrong. If you'd have to apply it to read drones. Oh, to real drones. Direction controls. We are going to apply this to real drones. Not that much, to be honest. We're going to have to just tweak a few parameters, but we have Finn and Sam, who are in the Discord, are working on getting it on a real drone. I'm working on, like, cleaning up the sim for us. Oh, yeah, Yaxine, there have been some updates to the physics you might want that add, like, motor lag and, well, to be honest, I don't understand all the math. I didn't fully read it. But there were some, I think, linear drag and motor lag were the two things. Courtesy of Finn and Sam. You have motor lag? Cool. Accelerometer noise. They see their acceleration? I don't even know if they get that as an observation. We probably will have to change stuff because right now they get position, but they're probably not going to be allowed to get their position. It kind of depends on what sensors we decide to have. What about wind? Wind we can, if we just apply random force perturbations every so often, I think that'll do a decent enough job with wind. Just learns. Well, you're doing something pretty different, right? Like, you don't have a go to goal, do you? We don't need absolute position, but we would still need relative position to the goal, or it needs some way to know where the goal is. Gyro Excel, you can do that. We'll have a goal. But is the goal like a position, like a position or what? Because, like, there's going to need to be some way for it to understand the objective. Position, yeah. I don't know what sensor you have that's going to do, like, relative position. If you just want hover and you have a depth sensor, that's fine. Stability? Oh yeah, you can totally just, if you just want to do hover, you can totally do it from that. Honestly, I think that the biggest bottleneck is probably your hardware at the moment. You should probably have, like, a more stable frame. Because that's not part of the sim, right? The sim is, it's rigid physics. You can print one, right? You don't feel like waiting for one to waiting and like buying one, you can just print one. It is rigid. Is it the thing that you showed me? Because I don't think that that would qualify as rigid. I won't show it on stream. It's funnier if it's a box. I mean, I suppose so. Are the motors actually strong enough to, like, lift that stably? Do you know how much thrust they can output? This seems like this kind of worked. That was 20%? Ah, okay. Have you considered putting some shielding on them? Because, you're gonna break a whole bunch of those, I'm sure, in the process of experimenting before you get it right. The one that we got, I very intentionally made sure had shielding. I don't think you had it on yours that I saw. I could be misremembering. Safety glasses. Yes. I I had a boss who in a wood shop who lost an eye when I was growing up, so You do not screw around with that stuff at all. Even when you think you don't need it, it's like if you wait until you think that you're gonna need it, you're probably too late. Yeah, have you gotten yourself a lab coat yet? Completely unnecessary lab coat. That was always kind of lame to me that like AI labs are literally just a bunch of guys on computers. Like nobody's got lab coats or like cool equipment or anything. Come on. Whoa. Okay, this is our policy. Well, this is the old policy actually. Hang on. Let's set SCP. Alright, so now we have the latest policy. It still is able to race. No problem there. Doesn't quite make this sphere, I don't think. Are they gonna follow this? They kind of follow this, yeah? Yeah, they do. I think the formations thing needs work. They're not that far off. Where's the flag? Oh, there's the flag. So the thing is, I actually don't know if these guys can hover. I messed with all the physics. You'd probably figure that out, right? Let's just train the flag task real quick. My workflow is usually a bit better than this because I train on the same machine. I happen to be on my crappy old desktop now, and I don't want to tax it with the stream running. So usually it's just nice because I have it all on the same machine. And then I like use remote machines when I have to like launch overnight stuff. Probably gonna pick some sim to real task. Gonna be easier. At a certain Y position. Ah, yeah, you could. You could do that. Just like stable. I mean, that's like way easier, right? Come on, I thought you were gonna win, right? You gotta do the hard problem. I'll help you out with the RL. It'll be fun. The crazy thing about this is how bad the reward is for racing, and it still works. It's literally sparse. It gets 1 for going through the ring. RL is fine, I'm stuck on the interface. Solvable given enough time. What do you mean the interface? built one from scratch. What, you mean like sending data to the drone? That? Like what? Were the existing things like too high latency or what? Time the policy control. Ah, yeah, okay. Like just low level data communication then, right? Yeah, that's legit. I mean, if you're building your own stuff, that's a heck of a lot easier to control, right? Like, yeah, it's a pain that you're gonna have to figure out the actual, like, okay, how do I talk to this thing? How important do you think the latency even is, though, honestly? Like, I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised if we could just build it into the sim. MS. Wait, what do they support if not motor thrusts? What's the interface they give? You can just change the sim to be whatever it is that we have. Hertz. I think it's 50 hertz at the. Well, it depends. We have different versions. Sometimes it's sometimes it's 20 hertz. MPS. What is that RPM or what? We have RPM. This gets to 857. I don't think this is good. We'll copy it over just to see. Oh, I see. How hard would it be to build? Not that hard. Shouldn't be. The problem that you're gonna have with your custom stuff, right, is like actually getting it into a package that's like stable and usable. I mean, for a hobby project, whatever. But if you wanted to have like an actual drone on that, now you have to do like production. Uh, like here, I'll show you the only electronics project, like the only couple electronics projects I've ever done. Why does my site not work? There we go. The only electronics projects I've ever done, I had this glove that used like basic ML to like recognize gestures, and then I had this MP3 player, and that's from a decade ago. Literally, actually over a decade ago, 12 years now. I'm old. I have a 3D printer. Yeah, it helps. Make the printer fly. I like that. Printer prints the parts to make itself fly. That's cool. Not gonna work, but it'd be funny. Dude, why can't your printer fly, man? The domain randomization does have its limitations. You know the story of the OpenAI cube, the Rubik's cube? I can tell that story. That's no longer private. So, like, that project, at the time, that was like a marvel at the time, right? It was so difficult to do that. To get like an actual hand to manipulate a cube. And at first it was literally just like turning it, and that was still a marvel. They had the problem solved in simulation, like I forget if it was 9 months or 12 months, it might have even been 18 months before they got it working in the real world. They solved it in sim very quickly. But it took them just a massive amount of time in randomization. I mean, they had to randomize because it was like from camera or whatever. They had to randomize colors of everything. They had to randomize friction. They had to randomize like joints and stuff. They had to randomize gravity. They had to randomize so many things. Like, it was very fiddly, right? Like, you couldn't move the setup to a new spot and have it work. You like had to fiddle with it and tune it and tune it and tune it to get it to work in one specific spot. And this is like very common in robotics for stuff to be that fiddly. So the good news for you is I think that this becomes more relevant in high dimensional control because like the basic rigid body physics model you have is actually not a terrible fit. And like when you're randomizing that model, you have a decent shot that your real drone is somewhere in the training data. Whereas when your physics model is fundamentally inadequate, like the thing that you care about isn't even in the domain randomized data a lot of the time. You have to be both trying to make the model better and also trying to randomize. But for lo-fi, you're usually kind of okay, as far as I can see. Yeah, okay. So as we can see, this is not great. And I think that this is the domain randomized drones. I think like they just can't be stable. We'll see if that's the case. If I'm right, then I should be able to disable. I gotta go to dinner soon. I'm freaking starving, but I want to actually have a couple cool results first. Plus, it's hot out, so walk there. That is possible, but there are limitations, right? As far as I can tell, it's magic. RRL is pretty good. Pretty good. I gotta get some like better models to load in actual quadcopter models. Oh, well, just adding another 0 to the steps works. Yep. This did not exist a year ago. Like, actually, here, let me show you. I think I have one of the graphs. Let's see if I can get my old Wanby. Might be on the other. Hey, Convert. There were 16,000 experiments in here, apparently. Did delete my experiments. Ah, well. That's unfortunate. I guess it did something weird. I used to have a curve that I could show you from Puffer 2.0, where it was like, it's very crashy and unstable before, and that was already way better than everything else out there. It's like, usually you can't just scale stuff and have it work in RL. Like, things you take for granted in the rest of AI just do not work. So a lot of this was like stability from the improvements in 3.0. Because this article actually did really well. That's kind of ridiculous. I wrote this in like an hour and a half on stream this morning. Yeah, the thing is, these notifications don't matter as much as these notifications, which are like potential inbound. Hey, Garlic. Just post. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I tend to be more curated with my stuff. I've tried just posting tons of stuff, actually, and it's done worse for me. Like, my random stuff, it like, loses me, views. My stuff is, like, mostly more intentional. What's going on here? I will show you in just a moment. Drones. We need... The algorithm can take care of it for you. Is there a thing where, like... Is there a thing that penalizes you based on post count? Because it seems like if you post, like, once or a couple times a day, you're good. And if you post constantly, you're also good. But if you have somewhere in the middle, it's not. Taught me a lot just reading your code. No, I will take your word for it, given your previous tenure. Algorithm is very simple. I actually toured at X last summer. It was Andrew or James. We could go catch up with them. I don't know. The thing was, like, I kind of saw... Well, first of all, I was already doing PufferLib stuff, right? But also, I saw, like, the legacy code base that was inherited. And, like, I didn't want to deal with the legacy code base of however many engineers Twitter used to have. Right? I'm really not good at that. Like, if you put me in a big code base, I'm not really going to be able to do much more than your average engineer, right? It's really when I get to take a hard problem and turn it into a... Like, if I get to take a big problem and turn it into a small problem, that's where I'm able to do stuff. I'm kind of just as screwed as everyone else once everything's a mess. Yeah, you're in the right place then. Welcome. Yeah, something's definitely broken here because, like, look at this. Let's, did I forget to SCP? Maybe I forgot to pull the model, hang on. Not any better? Yeah, this really is not any better, huh? It seems like they're way faster, right? Let me try the hover task. Peace, keep it up. Thank you. Nothing anywhere what you can do alone. Yeah. I do think, like, the max impact is either alone or, like, small team. We have, yo, Garlic, if you're looking for guides on my X, there is a programming and ML guide as well as a specific RL guide that people have found quite helpful. I would suggest either of those. I really put a lot of thought into them. Yeah, we've got like a whole nice community of people doing RL. It's really RL, not general ML. Um, but hey, there's useful resources regardless, right? Okay, last task before I really am just too hungry and I need to go get dinner. Just I want to do the hover task real quick. Basically, if this doesn't get, I don't even have to eval it, right? If this doesn't get a very high score, then I just know something is off with the physics. Because it should absolutely be able to hover. And we did change the physics. Use AI in CLI. Whether I highly recommend against the very heavy AI tools, especially if you're new, especially if you're learning. I use NeoVim with SuperMaven, and I only use it for single line autocomplete. It basically saves me typing. I don't really use it to like, figure out how to implement something. The stuff that we do around here has a very heavy focus on like getting closer to bare metal, like really understanding how to optimize things. And like regardless of how good the models get, even if the models can do like get better at doing that, still important to be able to have the understanding. So I like models for saving me typing and looking up docs. I don't like them for like trying to automate substantial portions of my job. Because I'm just robbing myself of the experience. Okay, so hovering actually does work. Yeah, so this just means that there's some quirks. Physics is probably fine. I will eval this for you real quick so you can see. Get dinner. Can automate. Yeah. We'll see whether they get better or not, right? It's kind of ridiculous though in my mind that like we keep seeing these posts like, oh, it's like bronze level IMO, now it's silver level, now it's gold level, now it's solved, like all these things, and like it can't write coherent basic code. And the thing is, like most of the researchers using it to write their code, I mean, no shame to them, they're good researchers, but they're terrible programmers. So, like, it doesn't really tell you much. They're like, oh yeah, OpenAI researchers and Anthropic researchers and Google researchers use these tools to write their code. Like, they're not good programmers, they're good researchers. Few of them are, obviously. More so the low level engineers, though. They're doing. See the drones hover. Oh, that's not good at all. Good thing I eval'd it. That's awful. Did I get the right model? Hang on. Must not have gotten the right... No, I didn't get the right model. Hang on. I'm just dumb. Didn't get the right... So that doesn't match the number. Alright, nope. We're good. See? They hover perfectly. We'll be able to get these to do the flag, no worries. I'd probably just mess something small up. Okay, I gotta eat, though. Man's gotta eat. Thank you, folks, for tuning in today. Sunday is my day off, so I go get myself a good run in, relax a bit, so on and so forth. If you're interested in all this stuff, I'll be back Monday. But in the meantime, start the GitHub. Helps me out a lot. Free, doesn't cost you anything, helps me out a lot. All on puffer.ai. Want to get involved with development? We have brand new programmers in here that are learning and actually contributing to useful research quite quickly. Right here, click the Discord, discord.gg/puffer. Or you can follow me on X for more RL content, including a bunch of educational material, but also reports on some of our research. Thank you, folks. And yeah, see